What's happening to the American workplace? People sharing pastries in the middle of the day? Gardening on an island retreat at 2 in the afternoon? Are they having all the fun? I don't think so. The bosses have to get away, too. Just ask Dick Grove, CEO of Primetime Incorporated.
I think it's as important for the CEO to be content and have a good quality of life as much as the employees. The reason I like motorcycling is that it gives me a sense of freedom, and it's 180 degrees from different than riding elevators to work. I think definitely getting out of the office frees my thoughts. I feel very comfortable where I have wide open space. There's a great sense of having your mind open when you're on the motorcycle. You have your mind and the scenery, and you can let them both flow. You live in congested high-rise office buildings. You try and work there. I can't work as well. I can't work as well as when I'm out here in the wide open spaces, and it's conducive for creative thinking.
It is that kind of creative thinking that has allowed Grove to develop Primetime Incorporated, a publicity and media consulting firm which takes an innovative approach to charging its clients.
In Primetime, we use technology to reduce our overhead, and we use that reduced overhead to offer our clients a rather unique cost structure, which is to only be charged if we're successful in placing publicity stories for them. If we're not successful, we don't charge. And the reason we're able to do that is that technology affords us the ability to reduce our overhead so dramatically that we take the financial risk, not having the client do it.
This pay-for-play approach has allowed Primetime to expand to 7 major American cities, and the company continued its inventive ways by incorporating efficient communication technologies. The result? A fluid, seamless operation between the company's headquarters and its employees, scattered across the country.
We have totally 9 different offices around the country, and in each one of those offices, 7 of them are home offices, where they have a computer, a modem, a telephone, and we're all hooked through a rather elaborate email system with the server residing in what we would refer to as our headquarters office or administrative office in Sausalito, California. We have found at Primetime that you do need a headquarters. By a headquarters, we mean an administrative office or a billing office, somewhere where you can keep your basic files. When you have a home office structure or a virtual office structure, when you find people working at home, they do tend to work harder. They tend to work in the middle of the night. They tend to work on weekends. They're always checking their email to find out what's going on.
But how does Grove keep in touch when he's on one of his motorcycle sojourns? In today's seamless society, it's relatively easy. The virtual office. Tucked away in one of his saddlebags is enough communication power to command a corporation.
I'll give you a call a little bit later.
One of the things that I find fascinating about technology, and one of the things that it's afforded me is quite honestly to be able to follow my own dream. The ability to be connected and yet to be away. I can communicate from just about everywhere. It's all self-contained, and I can carry it in my saddlebag. Now, in addition, I carry a cellular telephone that enables me to hook the cellular telephone through a hookup to the computer, so I can literally get email or messages anywhere, even on roadside. So on any given day as CEO, I may get through my email system on the road or in my office upwards of 75 to 100 email messages. I'm kept in touch in real time. Makes a huge amount of difference in terms of being able to manage a small company. One of the interesting things about the virtual office concept is that while the good part is you can always be connected, one of the negative parts is that you are always connected.
Dr. Kathleen Christensen.
So that increasingly people are having to negotiate these boundaries between work and personal life, not just because they work at home, but because they have the technology that's keeping them connected on a 24-hour basis no matter where they are, if it's in their car, if it's in a hotel room when they're traveling, if it's on the airplane. And so it's creating a very different attitude towards work.
So it's more difficult. It's more difficult to get away. And psychologically, sometimes you don't really want to be away because the access is so easy for you. Yet at the same time, the trade-off is the quality of life, and I would take that trade any day. I had been longing to return to my roots, so to speak, in the wide expanses of Kansas. I was riding my motorcycle more, but California, the roads are congested. I wanted to return to a quality of life and to an area where I had wider open spaces, the ability to enjoy my life a little bit more in terms of motorcycling and perhaps raising some horses. It just looked like the kind of place that I wanted to return to. What we found was this little 27-acre farm that, in effect, was over 130 years old. We have little waterfalls, we have woods, we have a pasture. I can't think of anything nicer.
Not only is Grove's farmhouse wired as an electronic cottage, he also chose to open another primetime office in nearby Kansas City.
The lack of technology years ago caused people to have to separate. People in the Midwest would leave their families to go to the city in order to find a job. And what you're finding today is the technology is enabling people to return, like me, to my homeland. As we have this ability to communicate, we're going to find less need to drift away from each other. I think it's going to bring us closer together.
Dad, you want to go back? There's a lot of places where you might like to stop, too. If you take this one, you won't want to stop as much because you're away from the places.
At least twice a year, my friends and I, my newfound friends from Kansas, we try to get together at least twice a year. We try to go somewhere interesting and exotic if possible, trying to stay away from crowds but participate in sort of the natural wonders. It's something that I eagerly anticipate, believe me, every year. The lure of the road, the sense of adventure of being on a motorcycle, there is always that sense of what's over that rise, what's over that horizon. We decided, hey, if the weather's good, let's go to the mountains. You've got what we call lots of great twisties. Twisties are those wonderful sweeping highways that come down from the mountain so that you can lay the bike out and just have a beautiful sweeping time going down the mountain. I find that wonderfully comforting. I guess as you move through the 90s, you move through the technological advances of the age, you move through business. There's a certain wonderful sense, though, than most places in this country, where life goes on a much slower basis and a much more caring basis. And the fact that I've been able to rediscover that, I think a lot of people are going to rediscover.